Banger after banger.
What's going on, guys? It's your boy Big Hero Chris back at you with another one. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe, leave me a thumbs up, ring the notification bell, hit me up on Twitter, TikTok, the community post, man. You already know the vibes. And it's Wednesday, so you already know what that means. It's time for your AEW Dynamite review, baby. And you already know, man, you already know what's going on, you already know what's happening. It's the Continental Classic, man. The tournament's still going on, you know, they're still fighting for those points. Right now, it's looking like Jon Moxley and Swerve are like the leaders for the Gold League, you know. So tonight's episode kicked off with Jon Moxley taking on Riho. And then when this match was announced last week, man, I already knew that we were expecting some good graps, some good violence. And these two men honestly did not disappoint. They were honestly, Riho was like getting on Jon Moxley's nerves. He was in the tranquilo pose. Jon Moxley decided he had enough of this and just hit him with the middle fingers to the face. And you know, they were fighting all over the arena. They were fighting in the ring, outside the ring, through the crowd, you know. Jon Moxley ended up getting the win with I think it was the Bulldog choke. And, you know, after the match, Riho looked a little, you know, discombobulated, but he was ultimately, like, really mad. Like, he wanted to beat up Jon Moxley a little bit more. But, you know, these things happen. It is what it is. The Continental Classic is rolling on. I think right now Jon Moxley has 9 points. You know, like, he's 3-0 right now. He's undefeated, as is Swerve Strickland. And, we'll get into a Swerve's match a little bit later, but a spoiler alert for next week is going to be Swerve taking on Jon Moxley, and I'm personally excited for that match. So next up, we had a segment with the Kingdom and Roddy, and Roddy's yelling people's names like Renee and Samoa Joe, you know. And, you know, Roddy's continuing with his campaign to paint MJF as the devil. He's trying to win back his friend Adam, even though Adam doesn't want to be his friend anymore. And Roddy said, you know what, enough is enough. It's time for me to, you know, step into the man that I am. He's tired of being held back. And it is an absolute miracle that Roddy was able to rise up from that wheelchair and walk, take steps. He even pushed the wheelchair out of the way. He pushed it off the stage, and I started crying and boo-hooing because of the miracle I just witnessed. This poor, brave, hurt neck man who has given us neck strength. No neck November, you know. He's necking the halls. He's doing all these amazing things. Roderick Strong can walk. It was beautiful. It was a beautiful sight to behold, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my gosh. Roddy can walk. Thank you, God. After this, we were supposed to have what was supposed to be a backstage segment with MJF. Renee was waiting outside of MJF's locker room. But Hangman Adam Page made his triumphant return. You know, he walked into the shot. And, you know, Renee was like, hey, since you're here, let me talk to you, man. How you doing since the whole Texas death match? And Hangman pretty much said, listen, I can concede the fact that Swerve beat me and whatever, even though it took Prince Nana and Brian Cage to do so. But, you know, it is what it is. But Hangman said it's not over between him and Swerve. And he said that he knows exactly what it is that Swerve wants. And he's going to do whatever it takes to keep him from getting that goal. And it can be interpreted as, you know, winning the Continental Classic. Or I feel like Hangman is going to do whatever he can to keep Swerve from winning the AEW Championship. Speaking of the AEW Championship, you had the AEW Champion MJF finally come out. And, you know, he's like, hey, what did you call him? Seabiscuit, you know? And Hangman's like, I don't have time for this. I don't have time to sit here and talk and let you talk to me for 30 minutes like you do everybody else. So he walks away. But as Hangman's walking away, MJF is like, yeah, the reason I have to talk for 30 minutes is because people like you are putting these people to sleep. And Hangman said, I'm pussy? So he came back, and him and MJF started going back and forth. MJF says that, you know, he beat him for the Dynamite Diamond ring back in the day, and Hangman was like, yeah, to relieve that pressure, I had to become AEW champion, and MJF was like, yeah, that lasts for like 6 months. Meanwhile, I'm like the longest reigning AEW champion ever, and then Hangman was like, yeah, you can be the longest reigning AEW champion while you grow up to be like 70 years old and alone with like 9 cats talking about how good you had it back in the day, and they're just going back and forth. And as they're going back and forth, I'm like, I know it's going to be Samoa Joe versus MJF at War's End, and I'm kind of expecting Samoa Joe to win, but after this exchange between Hangman and MJF, I'm like, maybe MJF can hold on to it a little bit longer, and then we can get to MJF versus Hangman, because, I wouldn't mind seeing Hangman be AEW champion one more time. His first one was okay. He had some good matches, but I feel like, they could have done a little bit better by, booking Hangman to make him feel like the guy. And he kind of feels like he's starting to be the guy again, the guy he should have been when he was AEW champion the first time. So, me personally, I wouldn't mind seeing, Hanger hold that title one more time, That's just me, though. That's just me. But speaking of Hanger, speaking of Swerve had his match against Mark Briscoe. And the way commentary set this up was kind of confusing to me, because they set it up like, this was a must-win match for Mark Briscoe because he has 0 points at this point in the game, and Swerve has just been on a whole nother level. He's also undefeated. And they were setting it up like, man, maybe Mark Briscoe could pull out the upset and, stay a viable contender in this tournament. That wasn't the case. Swerve ended up getting the win with the Swerve Stomp. And the way they set it up was, well, at this point, Mark Briscoe can't really win, but he's still going to be in the tournament. I'm like, well, hold the fuck up. Because if he's not able to win the whole thing, then why is he still competing? And shouldn't he be eliminated at this point? Like, shouldn't that be a thing? But I don't know. I guess he's like there to play upset. I don't know. Like, the way the tournament started off, I was following it like it was going off a point system, but now they're getting kind of convoluted because I don't know. Anyway, we have a backstage segment with Mariah May, and she's saying, that she got a chance to talk to Tony Khan, and Tony Khan's a big fan. He watches a whole bunch of New Japan stuff and blah, blah, blah. And she said, it's not really about me tonight. It's more about Timeless Tony Storm. But I feel like there's a little bit more to Mariah May that meets the eye. Like, I still feel like Mariah May's first match is going to end up being against Toni Storm, and she's going to pull out the biggest upset in AEW history so far. Mariah May. I feel like Mariah May is going to beat Toni Storm, or maybe not. I don't know. But I feel like that's what's going to happen. I actually feel like at World's End, that's where Mariah May is going to make her debut, and she's going to beat Toni Storm. But, we got to wait till we get to that point, but you heard it here first. So after this, what was supposed to be the tag team match, MJF, Samoa Joe taking on the Unknown or the Ninjas or the Devils or we or they or Aces and Eights or the Ninjas that kidnapped Samoa Joe all those years ago in Impact. Samoa Joe makes his way out to the ring first, right? And as he's making his way to the ring, he's making his entrance, the lights start flickering, right? And then the lights go out. And then the lights come back on, and then you see the 4 masked men surrounding the ring. And Samoa Joe's like, come on, I'll fight everybody. And we're all waiting for MJF to come out to make the save. However, the Devil posts up on the big screen, and he starts laughing, and then it cuts to the parking lot. And at first I thought it was the NXT parking lot, but it wasn't. It was the AEW parking lot. And it shows MJF has been attacked. And a lot of people were pointing this out on Twitter. Like, some people were saying, like, oh, well, who attacked MJF? And it's kind of suspicious because, it was supposed to be this tag team match, but for some reason, MJF found a way to get out of it by making it look like he got attacked. My homeboy Graham said it was probably one of the most cleanest crime scenes he's ever seen, and he's right. He was right about that because it looked very staged. Like, okay, MJF just had this confrontation with Hangman, and conveniently he's attacked. He's laid out backstage in the parking lot, and there's a broken beer bottle, laying right next to him, so it's making it look like maybe Hangman took it out on MJF, but we all know that's not the case. So one thing that Hangman said was he feels like MJF is really the devil, like he's trying to do this for attention. You know, this was said after MJF accused Hangman of being the devil. So right now it's really up in the air. Is it Wardlow? Is it MJF? Is it Adam Cole? Is it those damn 1994 Denver Broncos? Are they back at it again? Who knows at this point? But you know, we gotta wait and see what happens. So after this, we have the AEW Women's Championship on the line. We have Timeless Toni Storm taking on Sky Blue. And before Timeless Toni Storm made her entrance, she was introduced by Mark somebody. I'm blanking on his name. I think he works for TCM or Turner Classic Movies. He like did the intro. And I was like, okay, that's a nice touch to it. And you know, Timeless Toni Storm makes her way out to the ring. It's all black and white. And I gotta say this, you know, Sky Blue has been featured a lot on AEW television over these past few months, from her, you know, transformation to being baseball cap Sky Blue to emo Sky Blue to now I have a crown for some reason Sky Blue. And I gotta say, after all this time of watching her wrestle, this was probably the best match she's had so far in AEW. And you know, her and Toni Storm, the men know why we like Toni Storm and Sky Blue, and it's not just for their wrestling abilities. You know, there's other assets involved with the reason why we like these women so much. But with that being said, this really was a good match. You know, they had a good back and forth, hip attacks from Toni Storm, hip attack from Sky Blue. You know, the battle of the booties, the clash of the ass, if you will, and Sky Blue was looking pretty good, but Toni Storm ended up getting the win. 1, 2, 3. After the match, she's celebrating. She's hanging out with Luther. Luther's crying. And for some reason, Mariah May wasn't around. She was there at the beginning, but she wasn't. Back to what I said earlier. And then as Toni Storm is celebrating, speaking of massive returns, we had the return of R-Truth. We had the return of CM Punk. All those pale in comparison to the great return of possibly the greatest AEW Women's Champion of all time. You guessed it. Your favorite, my favorite, Riho is back. She makes her way to the ring, and you know, Timeless Toni Storm tries to attack her, but Riho, she's too powerful, she's too OP. She knocks her out the ring, and you know, she's looking at the AEW Women's Championship. So this might be a feud going forward. You know, Riho versus Timeless Toni Storm. You know, hey man, welcome back, Riho. We miss you. Big ratings. Riho is back. After this, we got the battle of the Jays. Jay White versus Jay Lethal. And the crowd was actually really funny for this, because they're chanting, "Let's go Jay, Jay you suck, we want Jay, Jay forever." They're having all types of Jay chants. And it reminded me of the time that Adam Cole and Adam Page wrestled, and they're all chanting, "Let's go Adam, Adam sucks," you know. So that was very fun. And again, you know, this goes back to the issue I had with the Mark Briscoe match, where, you know, Jay Briscoe, or not Jay Briscoe, rest in peace, but Jay Lethal had 0 points as well. And again, they're painting this as a must-win match, but Jay White ended up getting the win with the Blade Runner. And it's like, well, even though Jay Lethal has 0 points, you know, he's still competing in the tournament. And I'm like, why? If he has the least amount of points, if he has 0 points, there's absolutely no reason he should be in this tournament. Him and Mark Briscoe. You know, I don't know. I guess it really is whoever has the most points by the end of this whole tournament wins. I don't fucking know. So now for the main event, a match that took me back to 2001, a match that was 40 years in the making, a match between two friends that are close to the brothers. They're actually real brothers to me. They're blood brothers. They're brooding. They're awesome. They're Edge and Christian, or Christian Cage and Adam Copeland. And this was a really big fight feel. They're playing promo packages throughout the night, you know, hyping up this match. They're promoting it, you know. And this felt like that. It felt like a main event. It felt big time. I really enjoy what AEW has done as far as, you know, championship matches with the lighting. It's something that they do on Collision, and I'm glad that they've done it on Dynamite as well, as far as the lighting goes. And, you know, this was a really good match between two professional wrestlers that know exactly what the hell they're doing, you know. Edge had a moment where he was paying homage to Sheamus, the last person he wrestled in WWE. He did the 10 beats of the blah, 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 whatever the fuck it's called. So that was a pretty cool spot. And, you know, there's reversals. You know, Edge trying to hit the spear, Christian's trying to hit the Unprettier. There's reversals. They know each other so well. There was even a spot where they hit a double spear on each other. And I was like, I thought the whole world was gonna explode. So, as the match is going on, the match is awesome. They're getting "This Is Awesome" chants, you know what I'm saying? And there was a referee bump. And I'm thinking, oh my God, the bloodline's about to come out. The bloodline didn't come out, but there was shenanigans. As the referee, he's trying to gain his composure. Christian Cage kicks the referee in the dick. Why? I don't know. Because he's Christian. He's the father of he outfathers everybody. So as this is happening, Christian is lining up Edge. He's about to hit him with the TNT Championship. And then Nick Wayne's mom comes out. I already knew what time it was. I knew what was going to happen. I had a feeling that what was going to happen. And what happened exactly happened because I knew what was going to happen. So Nick Wayne's mom picks up the TNT Championship. And she's looking at Edge. She's looking at Christian. She's looking at Christian. She's looking at Edge. And she ends up hitting Edge or Adam Copeland with the TNT Championship. And she just has this look on her face like, oh my God, what have I done? And of course, it's conflicting because, Christian has said some really disparaging things about Shayna Wayne. But then again, Adam Copeland almost tried to kill Nick Wayne with the concerto. So, hey man, you gotta do what you gotta do, right? So Christian ended up getting the win. And even after the match, man, Christian, kicked Edge's neck on the TNT Championship. And he hit him with the Unprettier. And it looked like Christian was really trying to break Adam Copeland's neck in real life. And that's how this episode of Dynamite ended. What a main event it was. It was awesome. That was shenanigans to be expected. So I'm expecting, Adam Copeland to be out for a couple weeks because, he has history with neck issues. So, they had to sell that, play it up a little bit. But, this is a good episode of Dynamite, man. They've been on a pretty good streak of, their weekly episodes these past couple weeks. And this was another good one. It gets the honorary W. Keep up the good work, AEW. Feature the women a little bit more, but, you're doing some good stuff. But with that being said, guys, what did you think of this week's episode of Dynamite? Are you still invested in this Continental Classic? Are you still invested with the whole Devil storyline? Let me know in the comment section below. Of course, as always, like, comment, and subscribe. You guys take care. Bees, I'm out. Peace.